Right. And then, so we are live here. So let's just wait just for a couple of people to jump on. And I want to share this thing as well. So from my page here, let's just wait for some people to jump on. All right. We got some people jumping on. All right. We are going to be talking about 5G. 5G, please make sure that you hit the share button right now. We are going to be bringing the goods right now about 5G. It is going to be blowing your mind away. So it is extremely important that you start sharing this with people so that everybody here can hear this and learn and grow and protect themselves and protect their families from 5G. So hit the share button right now, people, because I have the man himself, Corey Hill, is here from EMF Solutions. And I got to tell you, if anybody knows his stuff, it's this man, especially when it comes to 5G, right? So, Corey, people are just getting on. Just tell us a little bit about you and your company before we get moving on this right here.
Sure. I used to be a holistic practitioner myself. I'm going to go back even further than that. I used to be a super horribly sick person. I didn't know why I got sick. This is almost 20 years ago now. And so I got out of the businesses I was in, financial businesses and things, and got in to become, after I got myself better through all the holistic methods that holistic practitioner types worked on me to get me better and back to normal, I would say. I decided to get into business. I got into business, became a practitioner, trained other practitioners for 5 years at Premier Research Labs, did all this stuff. And then I realized as a practitioner, I could not get my people really healthy without addressing EMFs. And so I couldn't find any products for my own clients that were working well enough. So I had to go to the drawing board, and I found Dr. Martin Paul and his discovery about how EMFs hurt people up in Washington State University. Anyway, all this stuff came together, created the products, started selling to my own clients and my family and my wife and I. Like, it was just for us. And then all of a sudden people started telling people, and all of a sudden it grew into a company by accident, quite frankly. And so here we are, and we've grown quite a bit. Now we have reps and trainers, and we certify people and all this fun stuff. So we've grown quite a bit, and I can say that we've grown quite a bit with like virtually no marketing at all. So it's just been word of mouth. So it means our stuff works, basically.
It definitely does. Everybody, please hit the share button right now. Hit the share button, okay? Please, like right now, I'd like you to hit that share button right now, because it is going to make an impact on many people's lives, because we are going to dive deep into this. So I'd really love to hear you, see you hit that share button. I want to see this number climb up to like at least 100 people on here. And the only way that's going to happen is if everybody hits the share button. And if you have any questions at all, please post them, okay? Because I can begin to ask the questions to Corey here, the expert. So hit the share button right now. All right, so Corey, tell me right now, during this whole coronavirus that's happening, there are people that are using the words conspiracy. They are using the words open up your brains, open up your minds, and look around and become unblinded to what is happening here as well at the same exact time. And I'd love just to hear a little bit about your take on 5G itself. Never mind conspiracies. Let's just talk about 5G itself. Harmful to the body, not harmful to the body. Give me your take.
Okay. 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. These are all different generations of frequencies from EMFs, okay? They're all very harmful, all of them. The reason that 5G, everybody's freaking out about 5G, rightfully so, but not maybe, they don't know why, but rightfully so. The reason 5G is so bad isn't because it's some new frequency as much as the fact that it's going to be so much more of the same problem. And what's devastating is not just that we have the cell towers, the 5G cell towers every 1,000 feet. In other words, every house is going to have a cell tower in front of it or a couple houses down eventually, okay? And some neighborhoods already have this. And that's a lot of radiation right in front of your face. So not only that is the problem, but the really, really, really big problem that is barely being addressed is the 5G satellites. So right now, right before the coronavirus got created and just in China, like end of December, right before that, a bunch of 5G satellites got launched and a bunch of them got turned on. Maybe coincidence, maybe not, right? These satellites to have, okay, imagine this, 5G towers have to be really close to you because the original frequency doesn't travel as far clearly, so it doesn't come in clear if you're too far away. The energy is still traveling. Energy doesn't disappear, but the original frequency isn't clear enough for you to pick it up. Imagine how strong a signal has to be to travel from outer space, hundreds of miles away from a satellite, all the way to the Earth to get to a tower or a phone or whatever. I can't do the math. I mean, it's unbelievable how strong this is. And there's, I don't know how many satellites up, there's a lot, but they just bumped it from 22,000 to 53,000, and it just got a week ago or so bumped to over 100,000 of these satellites the FCC has approved to go up into the space, into the sky. So you could be in the Rocky Mountains. I don't care where you are. Hey, I don't have a cell phone. I'm in the Rocky Mountains. You're getting sprayed by this junk, and it's really hardcore. And the reason it's so bad is because it's so much radiation. It's not that it's worse. It's so much of it compared to 4G. And that's where the real issue lies.
Yeah, that is a major issue. It's and it's very frightening, right? It's very frightening. And, this is exactly why people need to be protected when it comes to any EMF, period, right? And I remember you and I were having this discussion over, I had this total shield back in the day, and back in the day it said, oh, it covered 20,000 square feet, and it may have 20-something years ago. But today it will cover 20,000 square feet of protection, covers maybe 200 square feet of protection. Am I right on that?
That's right? Dead on, yeah.
Right? And,
so, and it's got worse in the last 2 months. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, please talk into that.
So the satellite's just getting turned on. So our products, like the Home Harmonizer box, which is the big box that creates a field through your entire house up to 4,000 square feet, give or take. And that easily did a whole home before. We have other gadgets that work synergistically with it to go on a Wi-Fi router and a couple other things. Well, as of a couple of months ago, some houses now need 2.
Yeah. Mine has 2.
Yeah. And if you have solar, you definitely need 2, but like the normal houses all over are now starting to test for 2. Yeah. And we have reps all over reporting this. That's because the satellites. And if anybody knows what muscle testing is, which is a fun extra way that we can like verify our stuff's working. Of course, we have blood tests and all the scientific stuff. But people who are into muscle testing can verify that our products are working. And you can point different directions to see which muscle testing, weak or strong. And if you point up on the top level of a house, that's the last thing to come on. In other words, and that's new. Yeah. In other words, the worst radiation that's hitting your home isn't coming necessarily from inside anymore, like your router and your cell phone, which is enough bad. It's not coming from the cell tower, which is like down the road sideways. It's coming from straight up now. This is brand new. I'm telling you what's going on in planet Earth right now is like immense.
That's right.
It's very scary. And if you want to hear about studies that people can look up and verify, this is so overproven and underknown about. It's just beyond. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine how we've gotten here.
Yeah, I can see. I can see how flustered you are about it. And yeah, everybody's very concerned about the 5G towers going up. But, we have a bigger problem, which is the satellites that are up in the sky, right?
That's the new big problem.
That's the new big problem right now, right? So now it's, whatever you were using to protect your home could be double. So, I mean, I'm at 2 now. I may have to jump up to 4 right? Which I may do anyway, just for protection anyway. Too much protection isn't a bad thing, is it?
Like I tell people, you can't overcome it,
Yeah.
because we're calming the situation and calming things down, and I can explain all that.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to get into that as well. You were, you're just so gracious, and the first time that I got to meet you, I mean, I just really got to understand how your brain functioned and operated, and how it's wired, and where your heart was about protecting people from all this EMF, which is such a great gift that you have, and I'm just I'm glad that our paths have crossed, so that we can protect more people, especially during this time. I mean, right now people are just scared. They're scared, right? And they're scared with everything that's going on with the corona. They're scared with the virus. They're scared now, to even just look at somebody or just touch anybody. And now on top of it, we got 5G towers going up at the same exact time, which we know that electromagnetic pollution will begin to cause stress on the body. And if you put stress on the body, you're automatically going to have the body's immune system begin to become more compromised, right? More stress, more stress on the body, immune system all of a sudden becomes more compromised. So everybody, please keep hitting the share it into groups that this is really good information. We're just getting rolling here. So can we talk about, let's talk about what's really happening. Like, so for example, when I utilized your protection solutions for my home, what I recognized quite quickly was that sleep got better. Sleep got better. And I know that you hear that very commonly, right? And that the stress for the entire family began to decrease because they just weren't being surrounded with so much of the Wi-Fi pollution happening all the time. And we have this radiation that I was very concerned about. For me, was coming from my smart meters, right? Because it's right behind my office, and this is where I am right now, and I do a lot of my work here. So for me, the smart meter's right there, right behind me, right?
Wow.
And yeah, it's right there. It's literally behind these walls, right here, behind these shelves. That's where that smart meter is, right? So I needed to get some rapid protection on me quickly. And I got to tell you, my energy levels stopped getting so, zonked, I mean, I'd always go get adjustments and I feel great and energized, but this right here definitely was a big support for my body. And let's talk about the smart meters for a second as well. Can we do that?
Sure.
Thanks.
So you want me to just kind of
I just want you to run with that, right now. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, smart meters are just spitting out something very similar to your Wi-Fi router. The reason that they're a little bit unique in all the radiation that you're exposed to is, so backing up a step, what makes radiation harmful and not harmful, we haven't discussed yet, but it's called subatomic chaos, okay? And the sun has as much radiation as your cell phone when it's on a phone call. They're very comparable. But walking out in the sun is not going to affect you the same way. It's called unpolarized radiation from the sun. The polarizing man-made radiation creates more shaking and vibrating, this subatomic chaos, okay? The reason the smart meter is so bad is because it has big pulses, big giant pulses with big lulls of nothing between. So a big pulse and then lull, a big pulse and lull. So that's like, it's like, imagine that it's shaking you on a bigger level. It's like if somebody's shaking you a little bit gently, that's kind of like irritating. But if somebody like has this gigantic, just rips through you shake and then does nothing and has another big shake, that's kind of what the pulses do on a smart meter, creating more chaos, opening up potentially more voltage gated calcium channels, which is what the whole mechanism that this stuff, how it affects us on a cellular level, and all the stuff can be explained in physics and biology. But those pulses just have a bigger effect on creating that shaky, vibrating chaos, which is the whole problem. So that's what makes them so bad. It also is bad because there's so many, they're in every house, and they're strong enough to go from one smart meter, which spits its message through a house to get to the other smart meter on the neighbor's house, which picks up that data, adds its own, and then spits a message through the next house into the next smart meter. So they got to be pretty strong to go through so many walls very clearly. So that's another issue. That's kind of a little bit of what makes smart meters unique, but it's the same problem, just a little bit different than your Wi-Fi router, your cell phone, and all the other stuff.
Got it. Okay. So what questions should we be asking right now? Like if here you are the, you're the consumer, you're the person, you're the homeowner, you're the family protector. What questions should we be asking you right now?
Most people first need to understand how bad it is.
Okay.
This is a new concept for a lot of people. I'm not sure your listeners, you probably got a mix of people who it's a semi-new concept for, and some who are pretty well versed and studied and read about 5G and stuff. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that I can tell everybody in your audience, no matter how educated they are, probably a lot of information about how this stuff, literally how it affects you on a cellular level and how we can address the root cause to remediate this problem. But everybody should know how horribly, devastatingly bad this is. One study comes to mind. The European Union did a study that said how much DNA damage comes from a cell phone. So they said, there's over 50 studies before they did anything on DNA damage, proving that DNA damage is happening from all these frequencies. But how much is coming from a cell phone? So they had over 3 million euro go to 12 different institutions across Europe. And they determined that 24 hours on a cell phone call was equal to about 1,600 chest x-rays worth of DNA damage.
Wow.
Okay. 24 hours on this is about the same as 1,600 chest x-rays. Okay.
God.
That's not a dude blogger in a basement that can talk trash and anything he wants. Everybody thinks they're smart on the internet. This is 12 institutions across Europe paid for by the European Union. After these findings came out, that's mind-blowing. That's one of over 10,000 studies. Okay. After this came out, many countries, it's now over 40, have passed federal laws banning Wi-Fi from elementary schools, banning cell phones from schools, all kinds of stuff, including France and Spain and Austria, and I can go on and on and on, all these countries. Yet in this country, we're still pushing for more of everything. We're still just blind to it. It's crazy.
My God.
If these people, and there's a lot of people involved in this study, there's no reason for it to be a wrong study. There's a big reason for them not to publish the study, because there's no money in saying EMFs are bad for you. None of those scientists, none of those institutions are making $1 for saying that this is harming people. Okay. There's a lot of money in saying it's safe. There's no money in saying it's dangerous. Okay. So just keep that in mind. This is you got to listen. This is just scientists that don't make anything off of this. The federal government, National Institute of Health, this is now the United States government, did a 10-year study, the most expensive cell phone study in the history of the world. It took $30 million almost to get through this study. So many people were involved, it's ridiculous. Their conclusions were 2G and 3G cell phones, now we're at 4G heading to 5G, right? 2 and 3G cell phones at a non-pulsing type of a wave, which is less harmful, at lower SAR rating, a lower level basically, than the FDA and the FCC says is safe, and much lower than actual cell phones are. They set it up to say, oh, look, it's not harmful, in my opinion, because they didn't test something that was very challenging or whatever. It's way less than what cell phones are. So the conclusion was, by every scientist in the study, that cell phones frequencies at 2G and 3G cause cancer and tumors in rats and mice. Okay. Then they gave it to an external panel of scientists to review. All unanimously also agreed the same conclusions. Okay. That's your federal government. Did anybody hear that study that ended in 2018? Probably not.
Wow.
It's all just snuck on just under the rug. Our FCC, and when I get to how ridiculous this is, our FDA, the level of radiation they say is safe at the non-ionizing radiation levels comes from the international, let's see if I can get it right, international non-ionizing radiation commission and protection agency. It's like
wow. Hit share, everybody. Please hit share right now and give some hearts and likes to this man. This guy's brilliant. Come on, let's go. Hit some shares, likes, hearts. Let him feel the love right now, because he's giving us real science, real research, real studies here. Wow, I'm very impressed. Thank you. All right, go ahead.
So anyway, this organization is what the FDA uses as their source to determine what's safe and what's not, right? So they determine the safe level, and this was basically to make microwave ovens legal in your house, right? So they decided that 5 million microwatts per meter squared was safe. Anything over that's not. Anything under that, you can make a product and put it in the baby's room next to the crib. They don't care. It's okay. That was a 1993 conclusion by this organization based on information from the 80s. That's what our FDA is using to say what's safe and not for you in this country. Okay, that's before cell phones. That's before Wi-Fi. That's really before microwave ovens were that popular, really. There was all this junk that we've added wasn't even here when they made these conclusions. And to boot, the organizations that they quote from 1993, the International, I just said it, Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection Commission and Protection Agency, they've done studies since, including one from 3 years ago, that concluded that 50 minutes on a cell phone per day, which is really, really common, leads to early dementia and a bunch of other health problems. Well, why didn't the FDA use that study that's recent? Because they're ignoring all obvious data. They're only finding the couple of studies that they can find that says it's harmless or not harmful is what they really mean. And this is how ridiculous this country is. Our levels are just, we have no idea. There's not science going on with what's considered safe and not as far as laws go.
It is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing that this happens, right? And this happens it happens quite often, and it's disturbing to me that this happens. So what are the protective measures for people to know, in related to protecting themselves from what you just mentioned right now? And anybody who has questions, just post them, people, and I will ask.
So we've obviously created products to remediate this whole thing. Mm-hmm. The reason that makes us so special, because there's lots of people with stickers on phones and all this stuff. I made the stickers. I never sold one, and they work the same as everybody else. There's a lot of attempts at how to fix this problem out there, and
can I stop you for 1 second? Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
Did you hear what he said? There's a lot of companies out there, and guys, look, I don't want to be beating up any companies, but look, I've been in the EMF space for a very long time as well, and I just haven't met a company like this. And I know that there's a lot of people who promote companies that have the stickers, and trust me, I've had the stickers. And as far as I'm concerned, the stickers only work if your cell phone isn't being used. Like, I mean, if the phone isn't ringing, or you're not text messaging, or you're not surfing the web, right? Like, it's just there. If nothing is happening on that phone, is the only protection that I found it to protect. What is your thought on that specific, on what I just said, Corey? Do you agree with me, or you disagree with me on that?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the reasons why I started the company. I didn't want to start the company. I started inventing the products with some help. I'm kind of like, call me the head inventor, if you will. So when I was a practitioner, I was selling a product I won't name because I don't want to badmouth anybody, but I was selling a product that went on the back of the phone that was the strongest one I could find. And it took 3 $90 chips, let's call them, that went on the back of a phone, and it still didn't quite finish the job and remediate it enough when you're on a phone call. When it wasn't on a phone call, easy. One of them worked fine. But when you were on a phone call or live streaming video or hopping around the internet, when the radiation goes really high on the phone, They all failed. Every product I could ever find. So that was $270 I was charging my clients. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I can't charge them $270, much less more, because it wasn't even fully doing it. So it's one of the things that propelled me into saying, I got to fix this darn problem, or else not use a cell phone. And now it doesn't matter because, we all have all the other problems. But yes, so the stickers can work. I have not seen one work as strong as our product. They actually do work to a degree. But the problem is you're doing a man-made fix on some kind of, item like sticker, for instance. It's charged with something that wears out over time. So usually in 6 months, it's useless. So what little you started with, and sometimes some are stronger than others, some are pretty close, but what you started with is going to fade. And some of the honest companies out there will tell you like, hey, every couple years, you got to replace it. That's a lot better than most of them that say it lasts forever, which is I've never not found. Let's just say.
Yeah, and we'll get into your product on how incredible it is. When we wrap up, let's just showcase a little bit. But we got some listeners who are just jumping on right now. So please just hit the share button, hit the like button. We got some great information here. I'd like you to let's go back to the 5G topic, because that's what people are jumping on here for. That's what their real concern is. What other questions should they be asking you about 5G? You could rattle off a few questions and then answer them. What do you could rattle off some articles or some research on it, anything that you'd like to talk about right now. I just want to give you the floor to do right now. Now that you're, we've been talking about this, you're a little warmed up right now, and just give you the floor to do what you want with it right now.
Well, 5G, people should ask, how bad is it? That's one important question.
Okay. So let's answer that.
It's, in my honest opinion, if I wasn't involved with the solutions whatsoever, if I had no invested interest, I have a vested interest in saving the human population, and it's that serious. 5G is exponentially worse than 4G. It's the same problem. I'll say again, it's just exponentially worse. When they put rats and mice in, let's say one study, they put mice that have a short gestation period, so they reproduce every, in a very short amount of time. Not like humans, we had to wait 20 years. So they put them in a yard that's near cell towers, and the first generation had a little bit of problem reproducing. The second generation had a lot of problem reproducing. The third generation couldn't reproduce whatsoever. They took them out of that atmosphere, away from the EMFs, and they never reproduced again. This is already happening to the population right now. I've heard on the news over a year ago that the average man, from today's man in modern society, the United States and every other modern society that has 4G and now heading to 5G, produces less than half the sperm than when I grew up. That's true. That's insane. And what does a ton of studies say about EMFs? It reduces your sperm count. That's and right. Evidence is right here. That's right. And all the studies on the mice and rats, and I can go on and on and on. Like right. It's like, hello, it's right in front of your face. If this happens to the human race, we're not going to be producing anymore. There's a guy called Barry Trower, Berrietrower, I believe that's how you spell his name. He's a retired physicist from the Secret Service and British Navy. Okay, part of his job was to use 5G, 4G type of stuff as weapons. Okay, go on YouTube, search his name, Wi-Fi in schools. There's a 5-minute video that will wake you up. He talks about the fact that when a woman's pregnant, I just had a baby. She's about 10 weeks old. When my wife was pregnant with our little girl in the first part of the pregnancy was developing the 400 and some things that will become eggs that she can one day maybe have a child of her own with, right? Well, in that first trimester, especially 100 days of pregnancy, the DNA damage is 10 times what we get from, we already talked about how bad DNA damage is from this stuff.
Yep.
The eggs of a fetus get 10 times the DNA damage that we do. They don't know why, it just happens. Okay, we haven't figured that out yet. So they get 10 times the DNA damage, but in the first trimester especially, the DNA can't repair itself like we can. It's not able to yet. It doesn't have that function to do that yet. So you're just beating the living, you know what, out of these eggs,
Yeah.
your grandkids that can't repair itself. So basically, if you expose a pregnant woman the first trimester to these type of EMFs, especially 5G, and her kid comes out okay, and she's going to have health issues whether she sees it or not. You can have an x-ray like every hour for a long time and not know that you're getting all screwed up, but you're getting screwed up.
That's right.
Okay. So she could be fine. Her kid comes out seemingly okay. They're getting damaged, but don't have any obvious symptoms. But then 20 years later, that kid goes to try to have her own baby. There's no baby going to happen. Because and if it does happen, who knows what's going to happen, because you have 10 times the DNA damage that doesn't repair itself. This is a problem. And we've seen it. I have pictures of cattle that were raised under high voltage power lines that can't have calves anymore. And I have calves before that happened that came out demented and missing hair and like crazy stuff.
Wow.
Like, this is a real thing. But it's always swept under the rug, swept under the rug. You can't go to 5G and not expect immense problems. And here's the good news. I believe it all can be fixed, even the 5G problem. I believe we can have our technology, which I love. You can have a cell phone, you can have your router, you can have your live stream video, you can do all this cool stuff, and then be okay with it. Like, we don't have to get destroyed by it. I believe in it so much that we moved about 9 months ago, bought a house, and a block that way is a giant 5G, a giant cell tower that's got almost 50 antennas on it. The biggest one I ever saw is a block away. I know I can fix my house and eventually fix that tower itself. So I feel good about it. I trust what we're doing. I also was in San Diego when I was 15 yards from a 5G cell tower. By the way, when they installed it, my wife and I woke up one day and we said, what's wrong with us? Like, I feel like I got the flu, but I don't. We were like, what is wrong with us? We used to be both practitioners and biofeedback and all kinds of other stuff. We were trying to test ourselves. Like, something is really screwed up with us. Took us a day or two to figure out that this new thing, this was a few years ago. We had one of the first 5G cell towers put up in San Diego, one of the first cities to get 5G. And they turned this sucker on, and I didn't know. So my product that I put on my place wasn't enough. So I had to go out and put another one, what I call home harmonizer box, on our place. And then poof, it was amazing. I got to be 49 before I moved, and I'm 49 still, about to turn 50. I was the strongest I've ever been in the weight room, the healthiest I've ever been in my life. 15 yards, living 15 yards from a 5G cell tower for the next 2 years. So do I trust our stuff? Yeah. Do I think we can fix all this? Yeah. The problem is the public doesn't know. If you're not trying, if you just let it happen and you don't do anything about it, you got major problems.
Yeah, I agree. I heard you say something important, and you said, yes, we can fix this. First, before we even fix it, I know that you have technology, right? In order to test homes to see how bad it's affecting a current home. Yes.
What we do is we have reps all over that go out, but they really use muscle testing to test a home properly.
But you use meters, right? You use meters as well.
We don't use. The only reason we use meters is to measure the EMF, like how bad it is, to show people how bad it is. Mm-hmm. The meter doesn't change when we put products in. The reason it doesn't change is because we're not blocking the radiation. So to step back, and all the physicists in the world will tell you there's no way that this low frequency, low compared to an X-ray, low frequency non-ionic radiation can damage a cell or damage DNA. It's physically impossible. It's against the laws of physics. So they don't think it's harmful, most of them. They still don't think it's harmful. The biologists are saying, well, you guys are stupid because we have 10,000 plus studies. The military alone has over 10,000 studies proving this. So how the heck is it happening? The EMF doesn't damage you. I'll give everybody a very short layman term explanation on the science here. So an EMF in a microwave oven, it's not magic. You know, you press this magic button, all of a sudden it comes out hot in a minute. It's not magic. It's shaking, it's vibrating the molecules in there. And that shaking and vibrating causes subatomic chaos. Everything's smashing into each other, creating friction and heating your food up, okay? Well, that shaking and vibrating we call subatomic chaos. The microwave oven uses the exact same frequency as your router, by the way, and your cell phone when it's on the internet, and your laptop on the internet and all that, okay? It's about 2.45 to 2.5 gigahertz. So where was I? I was like totally got off track there.
You were talking about we were talking about measuring, you know.
Right. So how an EMF hurts you. So anyway, so when a microwave oven shakes and vibrates molecules, the same thing's happening to you when your router's on the other side of the room, just to a lesser degree. To a lesser degree where it's not creating a thermal effect of heating, but it's still shaking and vibrating stuff. It's that shaking and vibrating that we've discovered, at least we're in the process of proving these awesome, strong theories, that describe it describes all the activity of every EMF property there is. It puts all the puzzle pieces together. And what it does is the shaking and vibrating irritates a sensor that's on every cell in your body. It's called a voltage-gated calcium channel, okay? And Dr. Martin Paul in Washington State talked about this. He talks a lot about this. So the shaking and vibrating irritates a sensor. The sensor is on the cell membrane. Let's say this is your cell. Your cell membrane has a lot of doors on it, okay? One door, it's like the round peg and the square peg and the triangle, right? It's like one fits vitamin C only, and another little hole or gate fits just a certain kind of protein. This fits sodium and so on. Well, one fits a double ion calcium molecule. It's called a voltage-gated calcium channel. It's very easily irritated by this shaking and vibrating. When it's irritated, it opens up. So now all the double ion calcium molecules floating by in the blood or in your body get to fly inside of your cell fast. This imbalance of calcium compared to sodium, magnesium, and everything else creates free radical damage, nitric oxide increases, DNA damage, and that's how this is happening, okay? We scientifically know how EMFs are hurting you. It's not just cause and effect studies. It's not just energy like everybody talks about. We know that's the mechanism. The reason I say all that is because we don't have to make products to block the EMF. The EMF isn't doing the harm. It's the symptom of the environment. So the EMFs are causing something to happen to the environment, the shaking and vibrating that we're reacting to. So our products are addressing the chaos. We're not trying to block the EMF. If we block the EMF, your cell phone wouldn't work anymore.
Yep.
Your router wouldn't work. So if we were blocking the EMF and we had an EMF meter read low, nothing would work.
Yep.
It's not a realistic system of how to fix the problem, and you don't have to. That's the cool thing. So the physicists were right. It can't harm you, but they were wrong in this way. It can't directly harm you. It's an indirect process where it's like you got to follow the dominoes.
It does harm you, yeah.
Biology, so they didn't follow the dominoes down to the biology side.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. What other questions should we be asking about 5G that you'd like to talk about before we get into some solutions here?
So some of our reps are biofeedback specialists, and anybody knows biofeedback. It hooks you up and it measures frequencies in and out of your body, and it based on frequencies, it can determine what type of health issues you may be challenges you may be facing. Well, they're telling me that in the last month or two, 85% plus of the people coming in now testing for radiation being one of their top health issues. Like of the top 5, it's usually 2 or 3 of them. That's never happened before. So that's because 5G is kicking in. And that's because of the towers, the 5G cell towers, satellites are turning on. And that's what's going on. I have so many pieces of evidence like that I can share. And I have chart after chart of these people that are getting tested on biofeedback, all of a sudden all testing for radiation problems.
Yeah.
So there's quite a bit of evidence going on that this is a big, big problem.
Yeah. Well, I've been testing, people for quite some time, and I've been seeing it happen going back for years. So now it's just way more evident than it's ever been. And that's why I love that we found you, because your solution has been the best solution I've found to date. It's not the little stickers that you put on your phones or things like that. It's the real deal equipment, which is which is what you have right now. So we're worried about the satellites. We're worried about the towers. More importantly, we're worried about people's health and people's lives. We already know that it's definitely been affecting hormones. It's been affecting sperm count. It's been affecting people who've been trying to, have babies for some time. It's been creating a lot of health issues, period. And who knows what else it'll continue to cause, right? I mean, could cause early cancer and other health issues as it puts stress onto the body. So let's get into some of the solutions. And why don't you showcase some of them for us? Everybody, please hit share now, because we are going to showcase some solutions here to protect you from the 5G. Corey, how do I spell your last name? How's it properly spelled?
Hillis.
Okay, so it was right here. Okay,
yeah.
So this is, Corey is the president, the owner of EMF Solution, and his name is Corey Hillis. And the way to get to his site is emfsol.com. I'll post that on here as well. And this is just about making an impact, people, in people's lives. Okay. So that's how you find them. We know that's killing sperm. We know the dangers of 5G. So please just share this right now, as we're going to go into the solutions right now.
Sounds good. So I would say fix everything. It's so important. It's insane. It's so important. The more people fix, the more chances that we get a testimonial. And I have hundreds of testimonials on my cell phone. I got one today. I got one yesterday. They come in all the time. It's awesome. It's amazing. But first of all, we're not fixing symptoms. So we never promise like somebody sleeps better, but it's amazing. I don't know the exact percentage, but it may even be over half of the time that people that have a sleep problem, they fix everything correctly and they don't have a sleep problem anymore. So sleep is a big one. Energy is a big one. So since we're not fixing anything or curing anything, we're taking stress off your body. And when that happens, your body has extra energy. With that extra energy, your body's going to apply it however you want to apply it, like or the best way that your body needs. So one person might need digestion repairs, and another one has to kill a parasite and focus on immune system and so on. So everybody's going to maybe have a different experience, although there's sleep and better energy, like super common. So when you're fixing things, I'll give you the priority. First, fix where you sleep and spend a lot of time, okay? And there's a home bundle that you can get that comes with, if you have a home instead of a condo or an apartment, it comes with a box like this. And there's a little thing that is on top that a clamp goes on, and that clamps to right by your smart meter or electric meter.
Can you keep that up?
What's that?
Can you show that again?
Sure. It's just a little 4-inch by 4-inch box. It's meant to be
there you go. Hold
outside.
on.
It's got a little place where the clamp fits under. The clamp slides right under there. So that clamps onto your electric meter. And the reason we do that creates a field that goes through your electric lines from your electric meter, goes through the electric lines and creates a field in every room in the entire house. Okay, as long as it's getting electricity, it's creating a field in that room. So that's like the biggest blanket like amount of remediation that you can do. And what that's addressing in particular is everything, especially from the outside. So cell towers, your smart meter, your neighbor's Wi-Fi, your neighbor's smart meter, all that stuff should be like addressed with this. Okay.
Show that again. Let them see, because there's some other people who just jumped on that, right? Mm-hmm. So, that right there is what I have on my home right there on the smart meters. I got 2 of those. So those are what really protect my home right there.
So that's like a big one. And that does the most good for you. The home bundle also comes with, and I just took it out of the package, this little clip. Sorry, I'm like finding where the camera is. This little clip, which has a chip in it, which can be removed out of the little slit here. So this goes on the electric cord as close to your Wi-Fi router as you can get it. So that's real important. It's called a device chip. Routers this makes the router situation a whole lot better. But when you put this on the router, it takes it from maybe a 6-foot field that's no good down to like a few inches field. So this means like people can be around it and it's okay.
Can you go through those again? I'm just going to remove my face from here and let you.
Sure. So the home bundle comes with this, which is like the blanket that does like up to a 4,000 square foot house. Quite honestly, since the new satellite problem, many houses are needing two now. I haven't officially put out an email yet on this, but if it was me, I'd get two of these big time. So this is going to do the most blanket good inside of a home. Then you put the little clip on a router, a Wi-Fi router, any strong Wi-Fi device, especially if you're going to be anywhere near it. The strongest Wi-Fi devices would be your router, absolutely number one. Xbox and PlayStation. Most people don't know those give off massive amounts of radiation. Alexa, Google Home are pretty darn high amounts in the same microwave range. And then I would say, what's the biggie I'm missing here? Fans in your room. Oh, yeah, and Wi-Fi printers. Everybody's got printers and they're all Wi-Fi now. And if you can print on one side of the house and it goes through so many walls to get to the other side of the house, you know it's strong radiation to get through all those walls and send a clear signal. So Wi-Fi printers are getting pretty darn strong now too. So that's what you would want to get the device chips for. And then there also comes with something I don't have here, but there's a Better Z's product that you slip under your bed to make sure your bed's perfect in the whole grand scheme of the situation. So that combo is just amazing. That's the first thing that people should do. And for a few $100s, it's unbelievable what you get. Like that, like that's the best $300 you're going to spend on like your family, in my opinion. The next two important things to do would be next almost every time is the cell phone. So people don't realize how bad the cell phone radiation is. I have videos that show as soon as you turn a cell phone on, it maxes out most of my meters, which go 100 times what the scientists are saying is safe. So fix your cell phone next, and then get a personal device. And a personal device, like we make these.
Hold on, I'm going to take myself out. Let you show.
Sure. So we make two things for personal devices. It kind of looks like a Fitbit, except for it's got a little not radiation making device inside. And you just, this is an adult band. We make them for kids too. And
can you show how thick it is? Can you show how thick what's in that that bracelet is for people, so that they could see that it's a real,
yeah, it's just a little thin. It looks like a Fitbit or like one of those kind of style things, but inside of it's just kind of it's a little shiny thing, but it's a chip made of the material that is our proprietary stuff.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could actually show the thickness of the chip so that it's not a little sticker type of thing, and also show like, look, like this is the type of material that's also on your cell phone, right? Like show it from like the side view too,
Yeah, so it's like, it's that.
That's thick.
That's what we're looking at.
Yeah. That's thick right there.
So it's enough of the material to do the job. So one complaint that we on occasion hear is, well, gosh, the stickers are so thin on my cell phone. Like I have one on my cell phone and it's underneath my case. If you get a rubber case, it always seems to fit with a little flexibility. But our cell chip is pretty darn thin, but it's still like thicker than a sticker. And if you have a really hard case, sometimes they don't fit on here and stuff. So you have to make sure you get a little flex in your case. I can't make them smaller unless you want it not to work. So I made them as small as I could make them, but still work. That's basically why there's a slight inconvenience for some people that have their favorite case they may have to change out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they are. They're powerful. They're powerful, and they protect you. And what's more important, protecting you or your phone case, right? Get a different phone case, right? I mean, that's really it. You got to just get a different phone case. That's all, right? That's awesome.
And my kid will not go out of the house ever without a cell phone that's taken care of and without some kind of personal device on. Will never happen. And my reps are the same way. especially those who put our products in. And almost half the time we seem to get a testimonial from somebody in that house. And when that happens, boy, they get it. They're like, oh, he was right, blah, blah, blah. Half of our reps that work for us, they didn't experience any changes. And we have a handful of them that went off to get their blood tested like we've done. So one of the ways you can look at blood under a microscope and see that in 2 minutes on a cell phone, you can have your blood literally affected. Visually, you can see the difference.
Yeah, dark field microscopy, it's called.
Yep. And so we've had multiple people repeat the same test that I've done, my wife's parents, and I can go on and on. Like we've done so many people. And it's neat to see that way that it works. But
yeah, it's powerful, really, really powerful. We were doing dark field microscopy going back like 20 years ago, so yeah, it's very powerful to see exactly what's going on, distinctions with different types of stressors, right? And EMF is definitely one of those stressors that you can see shifts happening with when you're really working on getting that right. All right, that's awesome. What else would you like to talk about before we come to an end here within the next 10 minutes here? Corey, are you frozen? I think Corey's frozen on us. I don't know where he went. Yep, I think he just went off, but he'll be back. But look, everything that Corey is talking about is about protecting you. It's about protecting your family. So I bring on these different experts to come and support you and give you the most current information. It's never about selling you. It's about protecting you, right? And my role is to help you in any way that I can. So I seek the best in the industries that really know what they're talking about, that have been doing the science, that have been doing the research, that are, that it's their passion, that they're up all night long just thinking about this stuff so that you don't, and then they just give you the solution. It's like, somebody was telling me, we had a conversation because, I wrote a book right here, right? And it's The Gladiator's Guide to Corporate Health and Wealth, which was an international best-selling book. And a buddy of mine wrote a book, and, you can buy books for $20, right? But God, how much money it costs to put out a book and get a book out there is, $20,000+. It could be $50,000, right? Depending on how much editing and stuff like that's happening. So, God, it's the greatest deal in the world. And it's the same exact thing here. You got people who are investing their time, their energy, their focus, and their own money in order to help the world and bring you the best of what's out there, which is what Corey was just talking about, which was mind-blowing, some of the studies that he was talking about. And look, what I'm going to do for everybody here is I'm going to get you a link so that you can directly order it. So I'll get you a special link, all right? So I'll get that special link. I will post it back here in the comments. Does anybody have questions? So, I mean, if they weren't answered, because I'm looking over here and I see that someone here asked, hey, how do I know how many that I need? I mean, you heard him say that if you got a 4,000 square foot home, that today he believes that you need 2 home bundles, right? So I hope that answers your answer. Hope that gives you the answer to your question, Dana, right? So if you have 1, how do I find out if I need 2? I would definitely get a second one. Like I have 2 for my home, and I'm going to double up. I'm going to get another 2 for sure. And I have the clips on all the Wi-Fis, and I have the Z's, the things underneath every single one of the beds in my house. So me and my family are sleeping restfully. And we also have things to protect us from the dirty electricity in the walls, right? Guys, I do have a meter to be able to test for dirty electricity. And it's pretty cool. Hold on one second. I'm going to grab it and show you what that looks like. Right here. So this is a meter that I bought to test for dirty electricity in the walls, right? Wait, hold on here. Here it is. And it's called the green wave meter. And right there, right? So it's It's got all the instructions in there, guys, when you order it, and it'll test for dirty electricity in your walls. And it's not very pricey, right? You could check for it. And then from there, you can just get the solutions to just plug right into the outlets, and then it'll reduce the dirty electricity that you have. Okay. If anybody has any questions for me before I sign off, please. Is iPad the same? You know, that would have there. You for an iPad, what you want to do? Oh, here he is. He's back. Right. So he's back. So for an iPad, what you want to do, from my understanding, is that you would want to put those magnets on the back of the protective strip, right on the back of it, like you would on your cell phone. I don't know how many you'd have to put on there, but we're going to leave that to Corey because Corey's the expert on that. Corey, how many would you have to put on the back of the chips, right? They're called the chips. Is that what they're called?
Yes.
On the back of an iPad?
So laptop chip, the laptop chip product comes with 2 in each packet. That goes on a laptop or a tablet. So you just buy one product and it comes with 2 chips that go on there.
Got it. So that goes on a laptop or a tablet. Okay, great. And then the cell phone has its own, correct?
Yeah. So that's a different size, bigger one. It fits the cell phone a little better. Laptops need a little bit more, which the laptop chips have just a tiny bit more in there because we can't get as close to the electronics of a laptop, so we need a little more to do the job.
Got it. And how about if a computer is hardwired and it's not wireless?
So you can go back to the device chip here.
Yeah.
This little clip goes on the electric cord as close to the computer as you can get it. And if the computer's got Wi-Fi, then this should take care of it.
What part of the computer would you stick it on? I know that there's many cords that come out of the computer. So like where would you stick it on? Which cord would you put it on?
Always the power cord.
Always the power cord. Okay, got it. And then it should be on any router or cable box as well in your home?
Definitely routers, yes.
Okay.
Cable box doesn't need it. So if you've done the job with the home harmonizer unit,
yep,
here, then a couple of things you don't have to do is usually you don't have to do a smart TV because the smart TV you still have a negative field off of it, but you're not touching it like you are your laptop, your tablet, your cell phone. So you can usually get away with not doing the cable box or not doing a smart TV. I'm going to do mine because I want it perfect. But usually that box takes care of it so that the field is only a few feet long. So if you're on the couch 8 feet away, you're okay.
Got it. Do you recommend that other devices? So you were talking about like the gaming devices, whether it's an Xbox or a PlayStation. So all of them should also have a chip on it. Which chip should they have on those?
So you do a device chip on the unit itself, like the Xbox or the PlayStation. I have one. My wife's dad got me a PlayStation. That was great. So you put this on the box itself, but unfortunately, you have those remote controls that, let me tell you, there's a lot of radiation coming off of them. Because not only did I experience it, but when you hit left, when you hit right, when you hit up and down, if they didn't work perfectly all the time, gaming people will be really mad. So they're really strong so that they connect to that PlayStation. So actually you need to take the chip out of here, and you need to also put this on the controllers too. You need to tape this underneath of the controller if you want that to be taken care of.
Wow. So
every without this.
So every controller should have that?
Absolutely.
Wow. So if you have whether it's PlayStation, whether it's Xbox, whether it's Wii, like the Wii games, games, you need those as well?
Yep.
Okay. Wow. So that's something new that I just learned as well. Okay. Is there anything else that we should be thinking about that we need this on, like lamps, or how about like if we have like the Ring, like the Ring units for doorbells, or any of those type of, because today there's just so much, and there's smart, there's you have the cameras now. We all have cameras in our houses or outside of our homes, or like, do we need them on that?
So most of the time you don't need them on the camera stuff, But if you have cameras that are close to where you sleep, definitely fix it.
Okay.
Because again, if you do the whole home product, okay,
Yep.
or you do, if you have a condo or an apartment, you have multiple of these plugs, which aren't as strong. It takes multiple of these to equal one of the home harmonizers. But if you have multiple of these, that's doing like the space in general. So a lot of that stuff's going to be taken care of. But one thing that I have to mention that people are surprised by is the house, any spinning electrical motor. That includes a household fan, air purifiers, AC units if they're like in the bedroom window or something. They all produce a certain kind of EMF, so different kinds. It's called front and back EMF. And that actually, it's not as bad as a router for you, but it's actually harder for us to fix because it's a different kind of EMF. The kind of chaos is different. I can explain it if we have more time. But if you put this on a fan or an air purifier in your bedroom, especially where it's really important to fix them, even with our product on there, you should still keep the fan like 6 feet or more away from your bed, the edge of your bed.
You mean like a standing fan, not like a ceiling fan, right?
Even the ceiling fan.
A ceiling.
So on a ceiling fan, at least the fan is like multiple feet away from your bed, so you can kind of sometimes, because they spin slow, so there's not as much front and back EMF, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
The ceiling fans are bigger and they go slower. The little floor models have to spin really fast to make like a good amount of air. So this device takes care of the fan to a certain degree. Ceiling fans, you still should fix them because sometimes you need to and sometimes you don't. But what you do is you take this chip out of the clip, or leave it in if you can. You take that little cup that's usually on the ceiling that holds all the wires in.
Yeah.
You just like unscrew the screw, take the cup down, clip this on one of the wires, and put it back up there, and then poof, you got it.
Got it. Okay. So I got some questions here. Here's some questions from some of our viewers right here. Guys,
Sure.
hit the share button, but one of the questions were, can these bands, right, like the kids wear or an adult may wear, right? First of all, there are kid bands and there are adult bands, yes? So we have them for all ages, right? Okay. It says, can these bands be deactivated by magnets? My son attached to a magnet by mistake. My son's attached to a magnet by mistake.
No. Technically, no. You don't want to have a magnet or something metal. It depends on what the product is. No, you can't hurt it that way. Right. You can put them through you can get them wet, put them through the washing machine, put magnets all over them. That's not going to affect it at all.
All right. So
it may affect it at the time the magnet's on it, but it's not going to affect it after.
Got it. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Hope that answers your question, Dana. Give us a thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoyed that answer. I got another question here, and it says, do we need an electrician to install the box?
No.
No.
So it comes with instructions in there, but more importantly, on the product website, there's a little icon that says product installation instructions. It's a little circle. Click on that. It's got a little, most of the products have a 30-second to 2-minute video to show you how to do it. If you have a flat, the only one that requires any amount of know-how whatsoever is this. You could use a flathead screwdriver or an 8mm socket wrench. You don't even need the whole wrench. You just need the socket part. So just by hand, twist the clamp, just to tighten the clamp on top of a pipe.
It's very simple, isn't that?
Right.
To put that on.
On rare occasion, if you have a electric meter that is inside of the wall completely, and the pipes and everything's just inside the wall, you can't see. There's nothing going to and from it. On occasion, you might have to put one screw through here, okay, and hang it next to your meter. So that's pretty rare, but there's a video of how to do that too. So you would need somebody to be able to put like a screw that's meant for concrete or whatever your house is made of.
Fireplace or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I went to Home Depot and said, I got a screw into this. What do I get? And they give you a little screw with a drill bit and say, use this drill bit and screw the screw in and whatnot. The video is on my website explaining how to do this. So that's the only time, which is rare, that you would need any know-how really.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. If there's any other questions, let's see here. Any other questions here? Please ask them right now before we sign off here. You know, we have this incredible Corey Hillis here. Anybody's got any last questions here before we sign off? Anyone? I'm gonna give it a. Here we go. If you have to relate, can you take the home bundles with you to your home, or you have to get new ones? You mean if you move, if you relocate? Okay, if you relocate, yeah, if you relocate, you can take them off your home and take them somewhere else, right? It's not a problem.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and if you're this plug is for a room, and it often does more than a room, but with the increasing satellites, you know. But that's a neat one because if you have an apartment, condo, you already have it. You can take this with you when you travel to a hotel or go on vacation. You plug this in your bedroom and then you're set. I take two of them because I'm not messing around. Because occasionally I go to a hotel.
I do as well.
Hotel's got cell towers on the roof and a Wi-Fi router in the room that I'm in, which happened a couple trips ago. In that case, I'd rather have two of these. But these are great for traveling. If you go to work, a lot of people sit in their office and they have a cubicle or an office and they're working in an atmosphere. They can't fix the whole atmosphere. They can't remediate it with products. So in that case, plugging one of these right in next to your desk or your cubicle would be amazing.
And that's what I do. I mean, if I travel, because I travel a lot for work and speaking events, and I'll grab two of them and I'll bring them with me, plug them in, and I bring my mini air purification system with me, my travel one. I bring that with me, and then I'm good. I'm good to go. To help protect myself from everything, and then I shut off everything in the hotel, make it all dark in there as well.
Hotels are usually pretty bad.
Huh?
Hotels are usually full of EMF. Bad.
Oh yeah, man, they are, and full of mold as well. Underlying mold that you're just unaware of. So it's important to have the air as well clean. So if anybody else has any other questions before we sign off, because I really just want to thank you. Is there anything else that you wanted to share, Corey?
Let's see if I have any major points that sticking points that I would think of. Again, if you're not convinced that this is a gigantic issue, please Google Barry Trower, like I said, or go to the bioinitiative.org. That's bioinitiative.org. When you go there, you can click on, I think if you type in also /conclusions, you'll get an organization that has members from all over the world that are just scientists and environmental leaders. And there's that one website /conclusions will give you over 1,800 studies summarized. These are scientists that don't make money. They don't sell products. They have no agenda. Nobody's paying them to do this. So if you're not convinced of the science, go there. Hear what the scientists are saying. There's so much information on one website. And then when your jaw drops, then you can say, oh, crap, I better do something about this.
Is that the right site right there? Did I spell that right?
Bioinitiative.org /conclusions. I believe that's it, yeah. So at least go there and do your own homework. Don't skip this. I know you got pesticides and GMO and all these toxins to worry about in the world, right? And you're like, oh, not another one. This is the big one. This is the elephant in the room, okay? This is the elephant that's growing into like a million elephants. I mean, it's insane. Do the homework. It doesn't take a lot of research on the internet today to jaw drop and go, oh my gosh, I better do something. So please take it serious. That's what I tell people.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Corey, for your time, your expertise, and just your willingness to even jump on here. I know that you had so much going on today. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me. And everyone, I'll be sharing a link very shortly. So keep your eye out within the next hour, and I'll share a link of exactly how you can get this product. All right, Corey, thank you very much. God bless you, brother.
Thank you very much.